So we've got a reporter on the way. I believe Heidi Hommel is on her way down to ASU. There is now a pro-Palestine, which I don't want to get into a pro-Palestine. The pro-Palestine rally going on, riot. Let's call it what it is, a riot at ASU's campus. So what we have seen happen at some of the elite Ivy League schools in the Northeast is now coming to ASU, and how will ASU handle it? In the past, I want to give some credit. Dr. Michael Crow has been above the fray in all of these issues and people having a voice and equal rights. It didn't matter what color your skin was. It doesn't matter what's going on. Everybody has access, and he has nipped a lot of these things in the bud. But just to give you an idea of what's happening, resistance until return is what it says on Instagram. Arizona State University Liberated Zone. In the Liberated Zone, we take our stand for Palestine's freedom hand in hand. So as of 8 a.m. today, which is this morning, students and community members in Arizona established an encampment at Arizona State University's alumni lawn. It's crucial now more than ever to show up and fight alongside them as they make their demands. So let's look at the demands. Our demands. Number one, ASU release an official statement condemning the Zionist genocide of Palestinians. ASU disclose all investments made with student tuition money. ASU divest from all companies tied to the state of Israel or complicit in the occupation of Palestine. These are the demands, by the way. These are the demands of college students that set up tents on the alumni lawn at ASU. They're demanding this. Let's start there. They're demanding this, as ignorant as they are about everything. It goes on and it gets funnier. They demand that ASU President Michael Crow resign immediately. ASU end all research exchanges, student and professor, of any partnership with universities in Israel. Abolish ASU and Tempe PD. I'm just going to let that one sit there for a minute. I want you to think about that. The students set up tents and are camping out on the alumni lawn at ASU, and they're not leaving until they abolish both the ASU Police Department and the Tempe Police Department. Professional, academic, and legal amnesty for all students and faculty who have been disciplined or fired for speaking out for Palestinian liberation. Another joke. Reinstate MECHA and stop all investigations on pro-Palestinian student groups. You can join the rally around the encampment. You can donate and drop off supplies, or you can donate to our legal fund. This is what is happening at the campus of Arizona State University. How will it be handled? This is my big question, and what will we do? This is as absurd as it gets. If you want to go through them individually, we can. You do realize that there were over 200 missiles and drones fired indiscriminately at Israel, and if it weren't for the Iron Dome of the Israelis, the technology of the U.S. and the Jordanian military, there would have been extensive damage and death in Israel that would have been indiscriminate and not on military installations. Number one, that's genocide. In addition to that, the response from Israel was measured, and it was on military. It was right near where a nuclear reactor was, but it was towards the military where people were not going to be injured to send a message that Israel was planning on doing something at a much higher intensity, but they didn't want to start a world war, so they sent a measured response. We could go down the laundry list of this ridiculous claim about Israeli genocide when on October 7th there was no such thing as a civilian. That you're not going to talk to these people that are unreasonable. If you go back to the mindset and the ideology that where all this comes from, in the 1960s, now I wasn't born until 67, so I was too young for much of this other than to read about it and see the videos and the movies and hear from people that were involved. The movement was anti-military. This has always been about power. This has always been, and if you listen, even in our generation, we've had leaders that say, there was a saying that was probably 15, 20 years ago, we speak truth to power. And that was a marching order. That was a rallying cry, basically saying that it's always about people that find themselves as the bourgeoisie or the proletariat, always under the bourgeoisie. We are always under someone else's control. So they have absolutely no idea of the truth between Israel and Hamas. Because this isn't just about the Palestinian people only, although many Palestinians are pro-Hamas. You look at some of these rallies that are supposed to be pro-Palestinian, and they are flying Hamas's flag. Hamas is a terrorist organization, and they are aligning themselves with them. And listen, just by their demands, you can see, A, how ridiculous they are, and that this is about authority. This is about thumbing your nose, giving the finger to authority. They want Michael Crow to resign immediately. They want to end all exchange students and professors with Israel. So here's my question. Who is it? Somebody go out there and find me the Jewish students that are violently taking over places and making demands that people quit or be fired. Show that to me on any university campus in America. Show me a Jewish organization that is rioting in the streets, that is marching in American streets, shutting down traffic, and basically just being a nuisance to anybody that disagrees with them, making threats. They're saying things like, and I don't know, we didn't keep it because I didn't plan on talking about this. At Columbia University, the person that is the main person in charge of the protests made a statement in a video that Zionists don't have a right to live, that they should not be allowed to live. So don't tell me that they're not calling for death. They absolutely are. Every single one of these students, and I wish they had radios blasting there, every one of these protesting students ought to be kicked off campus, not because they have a different view. I will always stand up for your right to express your views. But to demand that the president of the university be resigned, that no Israeli student or professor be allowed on campus, that they should defund and disband the police departments from the Tempe Police Department and the ASU Police Department, you are absolutely self-absorbed and ridiculous. There is nothing about those demands that is ever going to happen. You are nothing but a nuisance. You are disrupting campus activities and the people that are there paying their tuition to learn. You ought to pack up your things and go somewhere else. Go join the Palestinians in with a perfect world that they want to live in, if that's what you want to do. Everybody has a right to stand up and protest. And I've stood shoulder to shoulder with people and their rights to voice their opinions that were completely different than mine. I don't expect you to think like me. I don't expect you to act like me. I don't expect you to believe like me. But I certainly believe that you don't have a right to tell me that because you don't like what we are doing, that we're going to disband authority. They are the authority, and it's my hope that ASU PD, Tempe PD, DPS, Phoenix Police, and every other agency in this valley walk through there, tear down the tents, and they kick you off campus.
Thanks for watching the Mike Broomhead Show. Tap to watch and listen to the new season of Amazing Arizonans, a KTAR News podcast. You can also click the button in the middle to subscribe.